I'm live. He's alive. Kind of Halloween theme going on. Jasmine celebrated not just her birthday, but her birthday week, her entire birthday month. I'm thinking Halloween, of all the holidays, deserves an entire month instead of just one night, right? Especially since Halloween's going to be on a Monday instead of a weekend. So happy early Halloween to all of y'all. But more importantly, SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love reality TV fans, but I especially like those of you who get to spend that they're choosing to spend Monday night with me out here. Welcome to all of y'all guys. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. Here we are, middle of October. It actually got a little cold down here in Texas. Not cold, cool, right? We got a different definition of what's cold and cool down here, but it's actually kind of nice outside. So yeah, we get our couple of weeks of fall right now. I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. We got a little reality TV to talk about. We can talk a little Halloween. We'll talk about whatever y'all are in the mood for this evening. I'm pretty much open tonight. Hope y'all are all doing fantastic. Real quick, let me go through and just shout out some of y'all who've come in here already. Marilyn Sutherland, howdy. I had a great weekend. Thank you. Jake, the horror movie geek. I'm thinking about you a lot this month, Jake. Cindy Heyer, Amanda Lowe, Paula Scar, Ma, howdy, Ma. Michelle Moore, Keith Franken, Kiki, Brian Hostetler. Let me say again, Brian, Ma, and Cindy, thank y'all for helping me with the show. Moderators. I'm lucky. I don't have a whole lot of trolls out here. Every once in a while, someone shows up, and so I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Let's see. Angela's the Angels' grandma. Hey, Angels. Michelle Moore, Angie Berger, Kiki. I think it may say, but I don't mind saying it again. And let's see if and Terry Thomas and Peter S. We'll call it right there. Excuse me. I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. A good Monday evening to y'all. Welcome to National. There's all kinds of stuff today. National Pasta Day. That's the one that jumped out at me. I gotta say, it is so funny. I was in that Big Brother house, and I think I may have mentioned this once, trust where I was in that Big Brother house. I love pasta. I've been all over the world. I've had a lot of different kinds of pasta, but my go-to is still just Kraft cheese and macaroni. Now, I take that back. Thanksgiving, the Hog household has to have macaroni and cheese for Thanksgiving. My mom fixes it, and now Sharon fixes it, not from a box. They fix just creamy, good macaroni and cheese, fantastic. So I don't want to take away theirs, but for a quick go-to meal, I ate way too much macaroni and cheese in college. Just pull it out of a box, takes 15 minutes, and mix in that old Cheeto-looking sauce. Perfection. We're having it tonight in honor of National Pasta Day. Inside the Big Brother house, we had people like Tommy. I mean, he's Italian heritage. He fixed all his fancy pasta and spices. And it's just phenomenal. It took him an hour to fix his meal. I cranked out my macaroni and cheese in about 5 minutes or so. And I got to say, his was better. But mine, especially after it'd been in the fridge for a little while and all the flavors sunk in him, mine was pretty good as well. I remember while I was in there, I feel like Ovi, especially Nick, I had to teach Nick how to make a macaroni and cheese, which I forgot there were some people in the house that hadn't had a whole lot of real world experience compared to me. I used to, when I traveled all over the world, there were times where I'd be out there where I didn't trust any of the food local. So I tried to always carry around a big old package of peanut butter and crackers, big old package of Fig Newtons, and I'd usually throw in a box or two of macaroni and cheese because I figured usually I could get at least hot water wherever I was at, right? I could always at least. There's more than one time where I took bottled water, put it in a ceramic cup or such, and use my iron in the hotel room to heat it up to boil my water so I could fix my macaroni and cheese. There's all kinds of hacks when you're out in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, so welcome National Pasta Day, but we'll call it Macaroni and Cheese Day. Now, a controversial little question for y'all before we get into reality TV or anything else. Pasta Day, macaroni and cheese. I like to do mine just a little bit differently. Sharon's already having a fit that I'm even going to talk about this because she doesn't like it. Ketchup with your macaroni and cheese? Yeah, I know most of y'all are already going. I love taking my macaroni and cheese, putting a whole bunch of ketchup on it as well. Just a perfect combination of flavors. I eat my pizza with milk. I eat my macaroni and cheese with ketchup. Very controversial. I didn't realize how controversial until I got inside the Big Brother house and had people calling me out on it. But whatever. I am a unique individual. So anyone else out there like ketchup on your macaroni and cheese? If so, let me know so I know I'm not alone. So anyway, all right, let's move on. Let's talk a little questions before we go any further with it. Cindy Hire saying, today is the 33rd anniversary of the Loma or Prieta earthquake. Stopped the World Series. I was working in downtown San Francisco and had just left work. It was scary. All right, well, you were a lot closer. And then Brian says I was in college. Brian, me too. Cindy, you were a lot closer than we were. I remember I think I was in grad school at the time. I was at Texas A&M. Came home. I was getting ready because I remember it was the World Series between, what was it, the Giants and the A's. I remember both teams were California-based teams. I remember I got home from school, was getting ready. It was supposed to be a nighttime game. And then we heard about the earthquake and everything that's happening. And yeah, talk about scary. There's a part of me that says, all right, well, if you're in a stadium, maybe that's safe, right? I mean, you don't have a whole lot of tall buildings above you. But some of these stadiums nowadays, if you're up in those upper decks, especially, those steps are so steep. And I'm sitting there looking down and thinking about 30, 40,000 people in those stands. I'm not sure how safe I'm going to feel when I feel those stands starting to rock back and forth a little bit. Now, at Texas A&M, it's funny because we do our fight song. And at the end of the fight song, we all lock shoulders with each other and we do Saw Varsity's Horns. And we all rock back and forth. And because everyone's doing it in unison with each other, you actually can feel the stands moving a little bit. And people up in the press box, there have been big signs saying when you feel the stands moving, the press box moving, it's okay. It's been tested. Everything's okay with it. But yeah, I would not want to be up high anywhere during an earthquake. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that so well. That was kind of a big one, right? I've been in a few earthquakes myself, not anything like that. We had one while I was there in the Big Brother house, but not like that one. So yeah, 33 years ago. Amazing how quickly time flies, right? It is. All right, let's see what else do we have on here. We've got Cindy and Annie saying ketchup on my scrambled eggs. All right, I don't necessarily do it myself, but I'm okay with that. That's cool. And Annie Burger saying macaroni and cheese with cut up hot dogs. Yeah, we grew up children of the 70s, the 80s. Yeah, we used to have cut up weenies mixed in with it all the times. We'd cut up weenies, sometimes Franken beans mixed in with a little macaroni and cheese if you wanted to get fancy and all of that. I remember a time or two where I didn't have the hot dog weenies. I'd cut up little slices of bologna and throw it in there as well. I mean, what a perfect meal. You get dairy out of your cheese. You get protein out of the hot dog weenies. Assuming there's actual protein in those weenies, right? Have y'all seen the Halloween? I think it's Oscar Mayer that has the Oscar Mayer Halloween themed Frankenfurters or weenies or whatever. I say Frankenfurter, all I think is a Rocky Horror Picture Show, but they have their Halloween themed weenies, which are like licorice flavored hot dog weenies. And they look black. They look like they've been sitting on the shelf for a little past their expiration point. Man, I'm not buying those things. That's a little far for me, but everyone's getting into the swing of the Halloween and all that. I've seen they've got Oreos cookies now with orange cream on it and everything. Like I say, Halloween isn't just a day; it's an entire month, right? Halloween is perhaps one of my favorite holidays. I mean, yeah, Christmas, Thanksgiving, family, and all that, but Halloween's just kind of a go have fun kind of deal. Here's something I don't know if y'all thought about this or realized it yet. My 100th episode of Cliff Notes Live is going to be on Halloween night, which I don't know if that's good or it's bad. But yeah, I'm thinking what I may do a little differently for Halloween. I don't know yet, and I'm not going to say because I'm still bouncing around ideas. I don't know, maybe I'll throw on a costume or something and maybe scare kids out in the front yard. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. But y'all bear with me. But yeah, episode number 100 in 2 weeks on Halloween night. So yeah, it's going to be fun. We'll do something interesting. All right, let's see. What's Moss saying? Salt on mashed potatoes, yay or nay? As long as it's not so much salt that I notice it, right? I mean, there's that level. uh, where it tastes fine and then suddenly it quickly becomes too salty. So yeah, I put pepper on it before I put mashed potato, but before I put salt on it typically. But hey, each his own. All right, Mark Taylor saying, "What was your favorite Halloween movie, and did you and your lovely wife go see the new Halloween movie?" Well, first of all, latter answer first. Now, Halloween Ends. I don't know whether we'll go see it or not. I doubt we'll see that in the theaters. That's probably, yeah. I kind of want to see the. We talked last week about it, the last two that came out. I almost want to see that first. There is a drive-in here in Houston, and we're talking about maybe going to see. They've got all month some scary movies, Smile and The Invitation, a few others. We may go see some of those. Halloween Ends. I don't know. I've heard some people say they kind of liked it. I've heard other people kind of complaining about it. I guess the ending is different, ambiguous. I don't know. I can't give spoilers because I haven't seen it yet, but I don't know. All the Halloween movies, some of them are horrific. I mean, just bad. Others not so bad at all. But I've never been a big fan of all the sequels on any of these horror movies because how do you replicate the first Halloween? Oh, you talking about scary. I remember as a kid watching that one. My favorite Halloween movie, I don't know. I tell you one that I kind of enjoyed, and that was actually I didn't see it till college. I've told y'all in here before. Dawn of the Dead, Zombies, George Romero is one of the real scary ones that scared me in high school. I saw that midnight movie in a shopping mall in the middle, midnight, so middle of the night. That scared the bejesus out of me. But I'd never seen the original Night of the Living Dead until one Halloween. It was on, I think, MTV of all places. It's back when they actually had music on MTV. But for Halloween, they had Night of the Living Dead. So I watched it for the first time ever. Pretty scary. That got my attention as well. I don't know. The scariest Halloween movies ever of everything I'll throw out there. Psycho, because I saw it when I was pretty young. And so it definitely had an effect on me. Dawn of the Dead. And I'll throw in there The Exorcist as well. Creepy movie. Yeah, my parents went to see that. That came out in 1974. So I was about 9 years old. They went and saw that. I think it was either unrated or rated X. Back when rated X didn't necessarily mean pornographic. It just meant we're not letting kids in this thing. I remember my parents went to see that, and my brother and I were saying, "Oh, let us go. And they're saying, "Yeah, that ain't going to happen, kids." And they came back, and they wouldn't tell us anything about it. But for whatever reason, I got a little older. I still remember that Tubular Bells music, the theme song for The Exorcist. And it still creeps me out to this day. If I'm out in some dark forest or a corn maze and I hear Tubular Bells playing the theme song from The Exorcist, or I thought Friday the 13th, that maybe is the scariest one. Isn't Friday the 13th where they go that, yo, 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 wah, 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 choo, 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 wah. Is it John Williams? I don't know. There's some of the people that do the composing for these horror movies. It's almost the music as much as anything that you see on the screen that gets me on edge, that gets the hair on my arms standing up because the music is so creepy. I know when our kids were younger, we would do Halloween here, and I'd have speakers up in the second floor, hanging out windows, playing all this creepy ghouls and wolves and everything else, and that scared the kids as much as anything else. I like Halloween. Can y'all tell? All right, couple other questions. Amanda Lowe, have you caught up on Yellowstone yet? No, and I haven't caught up on is it 1883, which is a prequel, and yet it comes after Yellowstone, right? I don't know. Should I watch 1883 or should I watch Yellowstone first? Y'all tell me that first, because no, I have not caught up on it, but I want to because it just seems like it would be so up my alley in terms of shows to watch. We're still trying to get caught up on all the Marvel movies. We're up to Marvel Avengers Endgame. So we're getting close. Of course, as soon as I think we finished up the Marvel, then more Marvel movies come out. I know Wakanda Forever is coming out in November. Well, we may not ever get caught up from that series because there's so many of them out there. But now, Yellowstone is definitely one that's at the top of my list. And just especially with Big Brother over the summer, it was hard enough just paying attention to all the Big Brother stuff going on. So now we're starting to catch up on a few other things. I did see over the weekend where the Crawdad sings, which Sharon had read. She was looking forward to it. I didn't know anything. I knew nothing about it going in. It's actually a pretty good movie. Now, a little depressing here or there, but pretty good movie. So there's my movie recommendation for the evening. Where the Crawdads Sings. If you're in the mood for just, again, kind of a feel good movie, and a few areas where you kind of feel a little sorry for some people as well. But there you go. All right. Let's see. Jake the Horror Movie Geek. A 1978 classic Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yeah, with not Richard Dreyfuss. Who was the guy? Leonard Nimoy was in it. I remember, and I can't remember. I can't remember who else was in there. Yeah, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I went and saw that at the movies, and that's pretty scary. There's one scene I won't spoil it, but just what's the word? Yeah, those of you seen it know what I'm talking about. That actually was a remake of a movie from like the 1955 or so, the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And apparently that one ends to the very end. Again, I don't want to spoil it, but ends with the guy up on a mountain looking out over, seeing a bunch of monster aliens, and you hear a bagpipe playing this really sad music and all of that. Yeah, I like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I've always been big into the kind of movies that are a little bit more the sci-fi direction in terms of horror. Alien, talking about a movie that scared me to death was Alien. I like those that have a little bit of a science fiction swing to it, as opposed to just a straight up paranormal, witches or the monster that just they can't be killed. They just keep coming back over and over again. That's all right. And when they do it well, they do it well. But yeah, I like Invasion of the Body. Thank you, Jake. I should not left that off in the very beginning. There's so many out there. I love AMC just does all of them. There's a podcast I listen to called Evolution of Horror, and they have different subjects, zombies or science fiction horror, and they spend just 20-30 hours per category talking about the very earliest movies from the 10s and 20s all the way up to modern days, and what's changed and the theme behind it. Why do we fear zombies? Why do we fear Frankenstein type monsters? It's fear of science, fear of politics, all that kind of stuff. It's cool, the psychology behind it. All right, a few other ones. Populism updates. Have you seen the Wicker Man, the 70s version? That's got another really famous person in it, right? I saw it. I can't remember it for the life of me. I think the first time I saw it, I either was preoccupied or just wasn't quite old enough to get it, because it really did hold my attention. I watched it later. It's pretty good too. There's someone really famous on there in that one. I just can't remember it. All right, what else do we have on there? Terry Thomas saying, burning question: how do you shower in a Big Brother house without being in the nude? Well, all right, we'll talk about that. And then don't see how you do it without being exposed. All right, Terry. Well, I can only speak for myself, but I assume that everyone else that was in that house with me showered naked. I assume so, but I never really asked the question, and I sure didn't peek into to double check. As for me, yeah, I just said, whatever. The glass is frosted. Now there are cameras all up along the ceiling, and there's a lot of times where I thought, how far down is this frosted glass versus how high up is that camera? If I'm up against that back wall, can you see more than you need to be seeing? But I kind of figured that Big Brother was nice enough, smart enough to have the camera strategically set so you can only see from the neck on up. I figure, with the ladies in the house, I don't mind if they see my top side. So obviously I would think they would make sure that you couldn't see anyone's top side. Of course, they're a little taller than the ladies in the house, but now the way it worked is you would get inside the shower stall, then you take your clothes off, set them on top of the shower door so you could easily reach it, shower, do everything you need to do. And then after you got done, I normally would have the towel hanging over the shower door as well, use it to dry off, then put my clothes back on. So I was good to go. Now there was one time where I was trying to, I showered, we'd been outdoors the whole time. So I came in the shower. Sometimes I showered just because it was so boring in there. It's just a chance just to have your private thoughts. But I was showering. When I got done, I had my swimsuit I was trying to put back on. And as I stepped into one of the leg holes, I didn't quite step the way I needed to. And I kind of stepped on the swimsuit, which caused me to tumble. And I came within this much of tumbling out, breaking open the shower door, tumbling out into the middle of the bathroom, bare ass naked, which, I don't know if they would have shown that or not, but if the cameras are on me, they can't pull away that quick. That would have been quite the blooper reel. That would have lasted forever, right? But fortunately, as I started to tumble, I kind of was able to grab hold of, I think, as a shower curtain of the post that was holding the door, and avoided. For me, I would have just, well, I wouldn't have just stood up and said, "Hey!" Yeah, I'm a little more appropriate than that. But for me, I've been like, well, welcome to Big Brother. My family, though, they may have been a little shocked, a little more embarrassed even than I was. Fortunately, that didn't happen. But no, you just have to. After a while, you just forget about it. You just like, well, if people are going to look, they're going to look. There was a camera in the bathroom stall as well, but they always told us it was only going to be turned on if there was someone else in there with you, and they thought you were talking strategy. So you just had to kind of trust Big Brother that you didn't have a whole bunch of creepers over in the production room somewhere. And if they were, hey, get your views in, I guess. Whatever. Just don't show it on primetime TV. All right, what else we have on here? Cindy saying, watch Frankenstein meets a space monster. I like some of those old ones. Sounds like one. Let's see, hold on. Frankenstein versus a space monster. Yeah, that I like some of those. I like the old Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein and the werewolf and everything. So some of those as well. Makes me kind of think of the y'all remember that show Mystery Science Fiction Theater 3000, where they'd have the shows up there, the ones that were a little cheesy. I used to like the old 50 science fiction of the giant ants. What was that called? Them, I think, or the shrinking woman, or the shrinking man, or the 50-foot woman, or some of those that were a little bit on the cheesy side. But I love Mystery Science Fiction Theater 3000, where you just had three little silhouettes of two robots and a guy, and they just make smart aleck comments the whole time, because that's the way Sharon and I watch a lot of these movies. I watched a show. I watched two of them, and I won't spend a lot of time because I may have already mentioned on here. On the Beach, which was a 50s show about radiation taking over the whole world after nuclear war. We watched that. Had Ava Gardner and Anthony Perkins. That was actually a quality show. But there's another one called Panic in the Year Zero that was about a nuclear attack on Los Angeles. Had Frankie Avalon in it, but it's about a family trying to flee. And those are the kind of movies that you could so easily do Mystery Science Fiction Theater 3000, because we are making our own comments like that from start to finish in both of those movies. So yeah, I like the ones that are older, a little cheesy, not really. Well, they were designed to be scary at the time. The Blob is another example of one of those. Yeah, I like those kind also. Paula Scar saying Soylent Green 1973. Charlton Heston. Yeah. Did you know I actually have a movie poster of I've got two movie posters that I got while I was in college. One is Dawn of the Dead, and one is Soylent Green. Yeah, I don't know why I got that one of all of them, but yeah, I guess the whole idea of the dystopia of a world that's so crowded that strawberry jelly costs $500 a jar, and people are sleeping on stairways, and it's a very, very pessimistic, really depressing look at what the future. Of course, the future, I think, was 2021 or something when Soylent Green came out. That's what they thought it'd be a year ago. Little do they know, instead we'd be fighting COVID and not worrying so much about Soylent Green. Instead, we'd just be worrying about toilet paper. But then we have no toilet paper in our house. But yeah, I like Soylent Green as well. I'm amazed they haven't tried to do a remake of that one. Seems like they probably could. I also like the old Vincent Price movies. I like Charlton Heston. The Omega Man was another classic of the 70s. Vincent Price had The Last Man on Earth, and then you had the old House of Wax and some of those Dr. Phoebes. Vincent Price had some scary ones back in the day. Michelle Moore saying, hold on, I'll get to you, Michelle Moore. Hold on. Pearl G saying the Incredible Shrinking Man was a good flick. Guy shrank so much he almost got eaten by a spider. I remember him picking up like a little pin, like a diaper pin or a type thing, and trying to stab a spider with it. And I remember I was like, I'm shrinking. It's a classic. Yeah, I love the ones where and you think back then when they had to film those things, they had all the giant real spools of thread and giant spiders and everything else. Yeah, I like that one. That was good too. All right, Michelle. All right, now Michelle, I'll get this. Uh, can Cliff sing tonight? Y'all keep asking for me to sing. All right, just because you kept asking, I'll give you one. Did y'all know on this day, and I see I'm just treasure trove of information. On this day in 1955, I believe the movie Jailhouse Rock, starring Elvis Presley, premiered in Memphis, Tennessee. I think it was 1955. I know it was on this day. So I give you my best rendition of Jailhouse Rock. Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell. It's at the end of Lonely Street, the Heartbreak Hotel. I get so lonely, baby. I get so lonely. I get so lonely. I could die. There you go. That's the end of it. Of course, I picked Elvis, and now Daniel from Big Brother 24 is probably watching, saying, "That's my gig. What are you doing, Cliff?" But yeah, I like me some Elvis songs. I do a lot of Elvis singing in the shower. But there you go for the singing. And now y'all are all saying, "Why do we ever ask for that?" Yeah, I know. Hey, Sharon does the same thing. All right, Pearl G saying, "Fantastic, that was great." Now, thank you for your kind words, and you're a liar. No, thank you. I do appreciate it. All right, let's see. Cindy saying Halloween is on Peacock Premium. I saw that. I don't have Peacock Premium. I've got Paramount Plus for the Big Brother. Lord, it seems like I've got every kind of movie, everything there could possibly be. I'm sure we'll get around to watching Halloween before too long. Jamie Lee Curtis, you talking about making her fame. I mean, it's not like her dad was Tony Curtis, so it's not as though she wouldn't have done stuff anyway. But talking about a breakthrough role for her to do that very first one. And I know she's done stuff since then. The other movie I always remember Jamie Lee Curtis from is Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and all that. But yeah, she kind of bookends it. The very first Halloween in '78, and then this one at the very end. That first one, my brother and I watched it. We were alone. I think my parents probably did on purpose. They were somewhere, and so Robert and I said, well, let's watch Halloween, and we watch on TV. We didn't see the movie theaters. I don't know why. Well, I was only 13 at the time. That's probably why. But we watched on TV. Yeah, that got our attention. Halloween's never been the same since, right? All right. Jim Bat said the crawling the crawling arm. Yeah, I I remember that one. I feel like that had something to do with a pianist and his hand got cut off. I just seem to remember a little arm moving around. Of course, you also had the arm or the hand in the Adams Family that would pop up as well, right? So yeah, it's fun, the different things that they can do. And now some of these movies, there's some movies like the Saw movies and all that I'm not so much into, because I feel like there's a point where I like the suspenseful horror movies, but once you get to a point where it's just kind of almost like torture porn and all that, uh, I guess I'm at an age where I'm not as appreciative of some of that as I used to be. There's some gruesome ones out there. But yeah, the crawling arm. I remember that. There are a lot of black and white movies from the old days that, as a kid, when you only had 4 or 5 channels to choose from, I'd come home. Channel 13, ABC, in the Dallas Fort Worth area would have the 3 o'clock movie. You'd watch the movie, and then at 5 o'clock they had bowling for dollars, and then they had the news. And I'd always go out there to see what the movie was. If it was scary or something, I'd watch it. If not, I'd flip it back over to Leave It to Beaver and Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch and all the kids shows that were on the other station that was there in Dallas Fort Worth. But yeah, I watch a lot of those scary movies at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, matinees and everything. David Mann is saying, howdy, Cliff. Howdy to you, David. Been a while. The Thing and Halloween 1978 and The Ghost and Mr. Chicken. Yeah, the Ghost. Don Knotts, the Ghost and Mr. Chicken, and then there was the one where he's underwater. I can't remember the name of that. And then like the scariest, the Frady Cat astronaut or something. He had some fun ones, but the Ghost of Mr. Chicken, all I remember is there's a scene where he goes up and he's all scared in this haunted house, and all of a sudden the Incredible Mr. Limpet's what I'm thinking of. But on the Ghost of Mr. Chicken, he's in this haunted house. All of a sudden, this pipe organ starts playing in front of him without anyone standing there, and he has a fit. He has an absolute meltdown, and I remember that because one of the very first haunted houses that I ever went to, and I feel like I'm a lot of this we can say for we get closer to Halloween. Oh, we got a lot of stories. One of the very first haunted houses I ever went to growing up in Fort Worth, it was myself, my brother Robert, my pseudo brother Jeff, who always lived next to us, and the three of us. We were the three compadres, the three amigos. The three of us and our dads went to this haunted house, and one of the very first scenes was the Phantom of the Opera, and it was just a big curtain with holes in it. And you went up and you put your eye in one of the holes of this curtain so you could see what was on the other side. Now, on the other side, there was a scary looking person playing a pipe organ, dun, 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 very scary. And then the host, the tour guide, said, all right, now y'all look over here, and we're getting ready to go in the next room, but y'all take another look while you get a chance. And we look back in, and suddenly the person's not at the pipe organ. He's gone. And the tour guide said, oh my God, what happened to the organist? And then you hear his huge scream, and he's standing right behind us, and he's, all his mask and all that. We're all, scared us to death. That's all I remember from that haunted house. So obviously it had its impact. It was two of the three of us made it to the next room. One of us, Jeff, he said, that's it. I've had enough of haunted houses. I'll revisit it when I'm 20 or 30. So there you go. I still remember that. It's funny, the memories that you have, happy memories, scary memories. You never know what's just going to stick in this old noggin of yours as you go through life. Mark Taylor saying, all right, who has a good game so far in the challenge? Yeah, let's talk about that. The first episode, Tommy and Sis, my Big Brother 21 family, survived it, which I was happy to see. I thought they would, because I'd seen a few clips from that looked like they were not down in the first elimination, but they survived. Was it Kayla and Sam, I think, who went home? Kayla had been on the show before, but Tommy and Sis survived. I don't know. It's too early to figure out who's got the better game. In a normal season, I'm always going to be I'm always going to be expecting the vets to do better. They just have it figured out more, the strategic part of the game, and figuring out how to get the rookies in the elimination, get them to go after each other. And it just seems like that every single year. But this year, it seems a little bit different. One, we had rookies win the very first competition. So they had the ability, even though we weren't sure exactly how it was going to work, they ended up getting vets going against each other in the elimination. So the rookies seem like they have more power this year, but also because it's a ride or die, there's a lot of people, even if they're vets, the person they brought with them is a rookie. So you see a little bit more of a rookie influence, a newbie influence than you do most seasons. So I feel like that may make this a little bit more balanced than other seasons. I think the vets have to be careful. I think if the newbies win another challenge and really start putting the pressure on the vets, things could fall apart. So I don't know. I'm cheering for the newbies just because I always cheer for the underdog, and I feel like they need it. But I don't know. I think it's too early just yet to figure out who's playing the best game. Johnny came in. Who's his partner? Is it Tori that came in with them? I think that their partners are Nani. That's Nani. And there it's Johnny and Nani. They're a strong team. They may do well just because people are going to be intimidated them. I watched that episode when they show up and Tommy is doing the same. It's like Home Alone, right? He's doing the same look he did when he heard the wall yellers during our season on Big Brother 21. Just complete shock. So a lot of these newbies may be so in awe seeing Johnny Bananas in there and everything. They may be afraid to go after him, which will put them in a pretty good position. I don't know. I don't know yet. It's going to be a fun season. I'm just glad Tommy and Sis didn't go home the very first episode. It may come up quick, but at least they made it through the first episode. So they're going to feel like they did something while they're in the house. I asked Tommy a couple of days ago, I said, Tommy, did y'all get to choose your own bedrooms in the challenge or were they assigned? And if you chose your own, was there a strategy behind it? And he insists both said that, yeah, they got to choose. They intentionally chose to sleep in separate bedrooms, even though they were ride or dies. They chose to sleep in separate bedrooms, so they had more exposure to more people. And they tried to pick rooms that had people that they didn't necessarily know from Big Brother or Hearts of Reality, things like that. They tried to pick rooms that had very new type people, newbies and things like that, just so they could get to know as many people and hear as many things as possible, which I think is a brilliant strategy. It makes perfect sense to me. I know when I went into the Big Brother house, that was my big thing was I want to make sure that I pick the bed that's in the room with the people that I want to try to work with. And unfortunately, we were the second group to get into the house, and I sure didn't want to be the first person in because I didn't know I was the second group at the time. I didn't want to be cursed by being the first person inside the house. So I held the door and let everyone else in. So I was one of the very last people to get into the house. And as a result, by the time I went into the bedrooms, I really didn't have a whole lot of choice. At that point in time, it was just like, well, there have been seasons where there were some people who didn't get a bed, had to sleep on a floor or a pool floaty and thing. I sure wouldn't want to sleep on a pool floaty, especially with this last season a lot. But at that point, it's just like, just make sure I get a bed at this point in time. So I threw my bag on one bed in the target room. Well, then later, Christy came in and she moved mine onto another bed, which I should have been a little chat, but whatever. I was trying to work with everyone. As it turns out, she moved it over, so I ended up sleeping next to Ovi, which was fine. And it was closer to the door. I didn't realize at the time how dark it gets in those rooms. For me, who has to get up a few times during the evening to make some pit stops in the bathroom, it's probably better I got closer to the door anyway, so I wasn't tripping over people and luggage and everything. So it worked out fine. But yeah, there's the second you go in that house, even before you go in that house, there's so much strategy involved. Because I know there's people like Tommy who spent a lot of time sleeping in our season. It was kind of the outside bedroom. It was outside the RV room. This year it was the golf room where like Brittany slept and a few others. If you get that room, you can pay attention to who's leaving those other two rooms throughout the evening. So you can really spy a lot, but you have less reasons to go into those two rooms to spy on people that are talking inside as well. So you got to balance all that out when you're playing the game. All right, Mark's saying, can anyone beat Johnny Bananas and Nani? I don't know. I think they are so intimidating to everyone else that people are going to try to avoid them, which you can't do. It's almost like Michael from this last season of Big Brother. You got to take him out when you get a chance. Now, the problem is, especially with the way the twist works this season, where you can put someone up against them, but you don't really know. You can't control necessarily who's going. Say you win the competition, you get to pick someone to go in the elimination arena, and you pick Nani and Bananas. You can't also control who they're going to go up against. It's going to be a little random, it seems like, 1 in 3 different teams, which means you can't be assured that you're putting up another really strong team against Bananas and Nani. And that means that there's maybe a little bit better possibility that they're going to survive that elimination. And then they're going to be gunning for you, which I think is going to make people a little bit more nervous about putting them out, making the big but taking that big shot at the very beginning. I think there's a lot of people are going to say, yeah, no, I'll let someone else make the big shot. So I expect them to coast through the first half of the season. We'll see. They're going to be good. I'm glad to see Bananas back. I really thought he was going to be in the house with us. I don't know why I thought that. I guess there'd been rumors out there that Johnny Bananas was maybe going to make the transition over to Big Brother. I don't think we've ever had anyone from the challenge that started on the challenge, Road Rules, Real World, all that then came over to Big Brother. It's gone the other way a lot of times, but I don't think it's ever gone from the challenge then to the Big Brother house. But for some reason, I really expected that Johnny Bananas was maybe going to be in the house with me during my season. It didn't work out, but if it had, I was going to work with him. I was going to reach out as soon as I saw him and say, I know who you are. I'm not telling anyone else that I know, but I know who you are. It didn't work out, but whatever. All right, what else do we have on here? God, so much to talk about. I love these Monday nights, just answering these questions, talking to you guys. It's so much fun. All right, Michelle saying, did you watch The Love Boat? Yes, I'm not caught up, but I've watched the first little bit. I love the fact that Isaac, the original Isaac, Ted Lange, I think is his name, made an appearance on The Love Boat. Yeah, I'm still undecided on it. It's very much giving me Love Island vibes, but on a boat. But yeah, that's okay. I don't know. I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen enough of it to know. I haven't seen enough to really dislike or really like anyone that's trying to make the connection. Right now, they're all just kind of, I don't know. Some of them seem a little more shallow than others, and I'm not going to throw out names. I probably don't know their names yet, but yeah, I've seen a little bit of it, enough that I'm going to keep watching, but not so much that I'm guaranteeing that I'm going to watch it all the way through to the end of the season. I'll check in here and there. I think we're talented to record, and we just kind of fast forward through. There's some really cheesy moments as well, but that's all right. You expect nothing less on one of those kind of reality romance shows, right? All right. Brian's saying we'll miss the October 31st live because we'll be at the Bengals versus Browns game. Okay, well, that's a good reason. And the Browns on Halloween. I don't know. Are you a Bengals fan or a Browns? I think you're a Browns fan, right? Uh, Browns are kind of my backup team. Obviously, I'm cheering for the Texans, which is tough to do this day and age. They're what 1-3-1 or so. They're not going anywhere for the playoffs. I kind of like the Browns because we cursed y'all with so many players, Johnny Manziel and I can't even think of the Myles Garrett. We've sent a lot of players from A&M to Cleveland. Myles is doing okay. Johnny Manziel, not so much, but yeah, I like the Browns from Draft Day with Kevin Costner, another classic movie. So yeah, I'm always cheering for the underdog, and Cleveland very much is the underdog, as are my Texans. Yeah. I think Deshaun Watson is supposed to be playing. I think his first game back is going to be playing against the Texans in Houston. I don't know how the fans are going to respond to that. I mean, yeah, he had some issues while he was down here, not on the field, but he had some outside the stadium issues. So I don't know how fans will respond. We'll find out. A lot of it's going to be watching. I'll tell you that much. But that's all right. All right. Well, I'll save a candy corn just for you, and we'll make it up the next week. Mark's saying, raining in the Yankees game. Really? You know what? Being a Houston Astros fan, I'm a little bit invested in seeing how the Yankees do versus the Guardians. It's still in the back of my head, I think Indians, but I'm going to try to be correct and say the Guardians. I'm just kind of glad to see that the Yankees are having to play an extra game or two. Get through that pitching staff. The Astros had an 18-inning game Saturday. And Sharon and I, we thought, all right, we're going to watch some college football. We'll watch the World Series that's on at 2:30 or so Houston time. And then we've got the whole evening to watch a movie or go have dinner or go in the backyard and just enjoy the outdoors. Nah, the Astros play for 18 innings and finally win that thing 1-0. The most boring and stressful game combined that I've ever seen. But yeah, I'm hoping for an 18-inning game between the Yankees and the Guardians this evening. And if you want to throw a little rain in there as well to kind of screw with the pitching staff and the bullpen, that's okay too. I worry every time the Astros play the Yankees because they're the Yankees, right? So, but the games start on Wednesday. We're playing someone. I am ready for some World Series ball. I hope my Astros are ready for it as well. All right, what else do we have on here? Rich Fleming saying, never saw a scary movie after Evil Dead. I've seen Evil Dead. I just don't remember that much about it. I almost remember the poster for Evil Dead. It's like a skull looking off to the side or something, right? I feel like that's the deal for Evil Dead. It's just a bunch of scary ones. What is it about human psyche that we want to be scared so much? Is it just some kind of evolutionary from back in days when we were getting chased by, I'll say dinosaur, but I know it wasn't a dinosaur, but getting chased by wolves or whatever, that the people who stayed scared and said, hey, why don't we stay indoors around the campfire while the nasty monsters are outside? We'll get up in the morning and go check stuff out. Those are the ones who survived. The ones who say, I ain't scared of anything. They're the ones that got eaten by the dinosaurs and such. So maybe evolutionary wise, we've got that fear complex built into us. And every once in a while, we just need to get that adrenaline rush and a little supercharged. I don't know. Do other countries have scary movies like we do? I don't know. If you go, I'm not going to throw out any particular country, but countries that aren't first world countries, if they're third world, if you're dealing with poverty and famine and yeah, are other countries so enthusiastic about going off and seeing something that's going to scare you and make you stressed out and everything else, or do real life issues get in the way and keep the movie industries in other countries from maybe having such a focus on horror movies? I don't know. I've never thought about that. I know there's some scary movies from other countries, but not like we do here in the States. It doesn't seem like. I don't know. Just food for thought. All right. I've got let me see on here. Amanda saying would recommend Yellowstone before 1883. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that because I've heard different things, but I trust you. We'll go with that. Yeah, one of my favorite movies, or I guess it's a mini series, but I feel it's not like Yellowstone because I know Yellowstone's a little bit more drama and intrigue and betrayals and all kinds of stuff, but I really like the old Lonesome Dove series that was Gus McCall and the original Texas Rangers back in the 1870s and them just trying to survive life and showing what life was back. Again, I know Yellowstone is modern day and it's not the same, but when I think of guys out running ranches and things like that, it makes me think of that similar stuff. My granddad, just a little side bit of information. My granddad, when he was very young, was serving in the Army and was based down in San Antonio. And he may have dated the daughter of the preacher of the Lonesome Dove Baptist Church when he's a little bit younger. Yeah, he would sneak down there and pick her up and make sure that her dad didn't find out, being the minister and all of that. And so they dated for a little while. So that's my connection to Lonesome Dove. There you go. All right. Annie Burger. Sorry, Annie. Old movie with Karen Black. Had a doll terrorizing her. The Trilogy of Terror. Yeah, no, I remember that one. And if I recall, there was like a little Hulu skirt or necklace or something that when you took that off, that little demon doll would go chasing you around the house, and it had a little spear and it would like prick. What was under her bed or something? And she looked in there and starts pricking her arms and everything. That scared me to death. For a long time, I thought that was part of Night Gallery, which Rod Serling did Twilight Zone, but then he also did Night Gallery, which was a little less science fiction, a little bit more horror anthology, and that was some scary stuff. And I always thought that Trilogy of Terror was part of that, but now I've done some checking. I don't think it is. I don't even remember the other two parts of that Trilogy of Terror, but I remember that little Hawaiian demon doll with the spear. Yeah. There's funny what lodges in the brain. I remember that one. And that was on TV. That wasn't even at the movies, right? What were my parents thinking letting us watch that thing right before sending us to bed? It was a different world back then. I guess they didn't care. I don't know. It's not that they didn't care. They just figured we get scared or not scared. Either way, we were going to go and be in bed trying to sleep. So whatever. Kirk Thomas says, haunted him for a year. Me too. I still remember it. I remember everything about that. I remember, without throwing in spoilers, I remember the spear. I remember an oven. I remember all kinds of that doll. Demon doll made the most horrific, some kind of screaming noise while it was going after people. Yeah. Y'all know another show that kind of scared me a little bit was Creep Show. And it was George Romero who did Dawn of the Dead and all that. But it had a little clip. It had several different stories. One of them had Ted Danson in it. One of them had Stephen King doing a little bit of acting. He played Geordie with like an alien rock that starts growing stuff. And then there was one all about roaches. And I'll just leave it at that. For those of you who've seen Creep Show, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who haven't seen it, just type into YouTube Creep Show roaches. And I bet you find the clip. And you're going to hate me for even suggesting it. Because Creep Show, yeah, very well defining that particular little clip of show. Oh, yeah, that was horrible. That was horrible. All right. Wow, 7:54. All right, we're going to get through this as quick as we can. Chris, a.k.a. Fitzbits. My school is doing a mask singer competition. What song should I sing? It's got to be a fun one. Let's see. What kind of song? I don't know. How about a Lady Gaga? That seems like a Poker Face. I don't know. It's kind of like Masked Singer, right? Or you could do Billy Joel. He's got a song called The Mask. We all wear a mask, or The Stranger. Yeah, I think that's right. There's a lyric from The Stranger by Billy Joel. We all wear a mask when we're with each other, but do you have the courage to take it off at the end of the evening, or something like that? You can do that. I don't know. You probably need more energy than some of the I love me some Billy Joel, but Elton John was supposed to be in concert down here in Houston, and they had to cancel it because of the World Series, or I think because of the possibility of the World Series. I love me some Astros, but I love me some Elton John even more. I kind of hate that. I hadn't necessarily planned on going, but you never know how things go. But it is what it is. I don't know. Yeah, go for Lady Gaga unless you come up with something else, because that seems real. Or you could do some Donna Summers music from the 70s. I love the nightlife or something. That'd get people up and dancing around, right? Probably. Or you can throw in some Madonna. She's got a whole variety of things you can go with. I'm sure you'll make a good choice, Fitsbit. So good luck. That'd be kind of fun, actually. All right. 7:55. We're getting there. There's so many categories I was going to talk about tonight, and we'll follow up next time. I wasn't worried about running out of things to talk about tonight. We didn't even talk about Survivor, but are y'all watching Survivor? I'm enjoying it so far. We'll talk about that, and then we'll call it a night. Survivor. There's one. I can do some spoilers, right? If not, if you're behind, tune out for just a second. I'll do it quick. But one tribe finally made it to tribal council. Yeah, they were still 6 strong until you go to tribal. You don't really know who you can trust, who you can't trust. They finally go to tribal, and poor old Lindsay. She talked herself off the island. I thought she was in a decent position. No one really seemed to be targeting her. She got so paranoid. She got so nervous. She got so distrusting of people that she should have been trusting that eventually no one thought that they could trust her back. And she got booted off the island, or to Ponderosa, the ranch, or whatever. It's not the ranch, Ponderosa camp, whatever. But yeah, if she had just not gotten so paranoid, I think she would have been fine this week. It didn't work out. It very much made me think of Kat during our Big Brother season, because when Kat first got in that house, remember, she and I were put on the block the very first week, which is horrible. But she got put on the block, and we all laugh about her whole, are you bitches conspiring against me? She turned it into a comedy, a little bit that everyone thinks is funny. But when she was saying that in the house, and remember, this is before even live feeds had hit, when she was saying that in the house, people were getting very irritated with it, very annoyed, because no one could have a conversation without Kat coming in. And as soon as someone would walk out, say, were y'all talking about me? Is there something going on I need to know? And she was so nervous about everything that it became a bit of a talk in the house of, man, that girl, she's going to have a breakdown. She's driving us crazy, making these assumptions that all we're doing is talking about her. And we were about to the point of saying she needs to go, just because she's irritating us so much, because she is so paranoid about the conversations. And she saved herself right when it was getting to the point where she could have easily gone home over Ovi. She realized what was going on. And I don't know if someone told her or she just figured it out that people were getting irritated by it. And so she turned it around. She started making it a joke. And she would say that, and she would start laughing. And then all the rest of us would kind of chill out as well. It's like, oh, yeah, yeah, we're talking about you, Kat. And it became a joke instead of an annoyance. And it worked. And the rest is history. She did well. She didn't do quite as well as me. I was glad she went home before me, only because we were on the block together, and nothing gets Kat. But it's, you got to be careful in these games, be it Survivor, Big Brother. You can't get so paranoid and so nervous that people don't think they can depend on you to stay solid when they need you to stay solid. And that's, I think, what happened to Lindsay. It's what almost happened to Kat. And I know even when it was Kat versus Sam, Nicole and I both were saying, maybe we need to stick with Sam, because I feel like he's going to be more calm in the tense situations than Kat is, and we're going to be able to rely on him a little bit more. So you got to be careful when you're playing those games. But all right, there we go. We'll finish it with that, because it is 7:59, and some Yankees on TV and horror movies on AMC. I don't even know what's playing tonight, but I'm sure it's something good. I'm looking for it. Let's talk next Monday. I'll talk more horror movies, because we could talk forever on that. Y'all get y'all's list together and let me know. All right, with that, guys, first of all, before we shut it down, I didn't mention it yet, but if you haven't done so already, please go out there, subscribe to my channel. Now that I'm covering Survivor, the challenge, who knows what else is going to come up over the rest of the fall and winter time. Please go out and subscribe to my channel. While you're out there, you can turn on notifications so you know whenever I drop a new episode. And you can always go out and hit that little thumbs up button. I'm always appreciative of that. Thank you, guys. Thank you to those of you who are watching live. Thank you to those of you who are watching on replay a little bit later. To all of you, SKD143. Love the wife. Love the kids. Love all of y'all. I just have fun. It's a great way to start a Monday evening, answering questions, hearing what y'all scary movies are. Y'all hear a lot about me. Hey, you even got a little singing out of me, which that may be about all that you get out of me from the singing standpoint, but we'll see. Guys, y'all have a great Monday. We'll be back next Monday, episode 99 of Cliff Notes Live. And then after that, who knows what happens on Halloween night. It'll be fun. We'll do something. Guys, y'all have a great one. Until then, cheers, my friends. SKD143. Bye. Later, guys.